Hey, it's Landon. Today we're checking out the Google Nest Max. Let's go. Hey, how's it going? I'm Landon. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Click a like on the video if you do like this video, and turn on notifications so you can be notified of future videos coming out. All right, so last year I got the Google Nest, which I quickly learned to love, and I use it all the time. It's like a central hub in our kitchen. So in this video, we're taking a look at its bigger brother, or bigger sister, or its parent, whatever you'd call it. It's the bigger version, basically. That's why they call it the Max. Just for clarity, I bought this myself through the Google Store. This isn't a paid promotion, and this is not a paid video. Obviously, the first thing you'll notice is that it's much larger. It's a much bigger screen than the original Google Nest. But in this video, I want to focus on what I've been using it for, how I use it day to day in real life, and what you can expect from the Nest Max. So let's start with the specs. So one quick clarification before we go. It is the Nest Hub Max. I keep saying Nest Max. It's just quicker to say. Anyways, let's go over the specs, and you can take a look at it while I'm talking here. Take a look at it against the original Nest Hub. So the camera on it is a 6.5 megapixel camera with 127-degree wide field of view, and it has auto framing. It also has face match technology, so you can set it up if you want it to detect you when you walk in the room. If you turn the unit around, there is a mic and camera switch, so you can turn them on and off very quickly. Just talking about the touchscreen again, it's an HD touchscreen. It's 1280 by 800. It's nothing spectacular. It does the job. It's just not one of the highlights of the unit. However, talking about one of the highlights is the sound system. So it has stereo speakers. There are two 18mm 10-watt tweeters, and then it's got a 75mm 30-watt woofer. So it can really pump out the sound, and you have to hear it in person. It's really impressive for the size. Just a couple more things to mention. It has an ambient EQ light sensor, so it will adjust itself depending on the lighting in your room, which I find really useful. As far as connectivity, it accepts all the latest Wi-Fi standards. It also has Bluetooth 5.0 support. It has built-in Chromecast, so if you're playing some kind of media on your phone or other device and you want to send it over to that screen, you can have it mirror over to the Nest Hub Max. It's a pretty cool feature. The last thing I'll mention is the power. It does come with a 30-watt power adapter, which you need. These don't have batteries built in, so there is no backup battery. You need to have it plugged in, so you gotta keep that in mind. You need to be near a wall outlet if you want to power these. There's a comparison of the original and the Max, and you got to see the specs. Now, if you're gonna buy it, let's go through the full walkthrough of this setup. It's pretty easy. All right, let's get going with the setup here. You're gonna power it on by plugging it in, and you're gonna get the first thing here is the Google logo, and then it's gonna recommend that you download the Home app, which I already have on my smartphone. I'm using, in this case, a Galaxy S10 smartphone, and so I believe you can also do it on an iOS device. Don't quote me on that, but we're gonna do Android in this case. So you're gonna have the option there to set up the Nest Hub on the app, and then it's gonna start connecting. And then I'm gonna switch over to, I'm gonna do some screen capturing here. There we go. A little bit better and clearer to look at. So this is my phone here, and we're gonna start through the setup. I don't wanna help improve, no. We're gonna set it up in my kitchen, click next, and then I'm just speeding through the setup a little bit because it does take a little while. And if you wanna use Google Assistant, you can. You don't have to use any of these features. They're all optional. I like to have this stuff on, use the camera sensing features. Some people don't want the camera on. I like all this stuff. Voice activation, agreeing to match the voice match. I've already done this before, so it knows my voice. And that actually does work. My kids will try to do some commands and it won't respond because it wants my voice. So agree to the face match. This is new to me. I've never seen this before, so it's gonna actually capture your face from different angles because it's got a wide angle lens, so it's kind of funny looking here, but you can see I'm gonna put it on there. And it wants you to rotate your face to the left and then to the right, and then look at that. And Google is such a flirt. Look at that. You look great. Thank you so much, Google Assistant. And allow personal results. If you do want that, say yes. If not, I'm subscribed to the YouTube Music, so I'm plugging through that. I don't want any of these video features enabled, but it all depends what you have. I like to use the photo gallery for photo show, kind of like a slideshow that shows your photos. And we're almost done here. Almost finished, almost done. Learn about the controls. Now, when you're at this point, you can see I've got it set up for the kitchen. It's gonna go through a major demonstration mode. And you can, it's worth watching once if you've never seen the device before, just to learn it, but I'm gonna say later. So there's some of the pictures just scrolling through. And there you go, that's the setup. It's a lot quicker and easier than you might think. So there we go. So I mentioned I wanted to talk about the main differences between the original Nest Hub and the Nest Max, and then how I use it day to day in real life situations. So the biggest difference for me that I noticed right away, other than having a bigger screen that you can see from further away, the biggest difference was the sound. There's a huge low end improvement, and the max volume is, no pun intended, much better than the original Nest Hub. The sound is good on the Nest Hub, but this one's just like a level up. You can really turn it up and it sounds good. Probably the biggest change, other than the volume and the sound quality, is the introduction of the camera that's built into it. Now the camera can do a few things. It can detect you. You can turn all this stuff on and off if you want. There's a switch on the back, but it can detect you and then personalize your experience. You can also do video calling. The one feature I don't use really because the other end needs to be using Google Duo, which a lot of people I don't think have. The camera can also be used as a monitoring tool through the Nest Cam application. Other than that, it's pretty much the same device, other than the footprint really. So why did I even want to get it compared to the original? I have a fairly large, not a huge kitchen, but it's an open space, and it's sitting in like a central hub area right in the middle of the kitchen. And I found the 7-inch screen, I believe it's 7-inch on the original, was just a little bit hard to see from far away, and the 10-inch makes a huge difference. Picture an iPad versus a small like Galaxy tablet or something like that, if you're thinking of real life situations, or an iPad mini maybe. So like I mentioned, it's sitting in the kitchen. The main thing that we use it for, like my family included, we use it for music, constantly playing music through it. I have the YouTube Premium subscription, so I get YouTube Music as well, and it's great for playing music through it. It's constantly running a photo gallery, which is linked to my Google Photos, so we're looking at like a slideshow basically all day. Commonly, my kids will just be sitting there looking at the photos, and it's great. We're looking at old photos we've never really looked at before that just kind of sit in your photo collection on Google Photos or whatever source you have set up, and it's cool to see these photos again. You can ask the Nest Max, when was that photo taken, and it'll tell you. It's pretty cool. Other than that, we use it a ton for Google searches, which I didn't expect. We'll be having a discussion, and then we'll ask for the definition through Google, and it usually gives the top Google search. So not always perfect, but it's overall pretty good. And use it to check the weather all the time. It's basically used like a tablet that you don't have to touch. The voice commands are great and really helpful. So that's gonna do it for this video. That's pretty much a summary of how I use the Nest Hub Max. I still have the Nest Hub. It's used in a smaller room. I use it as a clock and an alarm clock, and similar features for news and music and stuff like that. So they sync up, and you can have them all connected on the same network. So I've said this a couple times. Ask me a couple years ago, would I have been into getting all this Google home automation stuff? I would have said absolutely not. But Google, being the way they are, sending the free mini Nests, it just totally hooked us. So kind of like when you get used to having your smartphone all the time. It's just something that's in the room that you use all the time, and becomes part of your daily life. So that's gonna do it for this video. Again, I'm Landon. Hopefully this video was helpful. Let me know. Give me feedback below in the comments if you've used these devices, if you used other Google smart home stuff. Just curious what your experiences have been. Let me know. If you're looking at getting one of these, I'll put links in the description where you can find places to buy them. All right, that's gonna do it for today. Until the next video, take care. Hey, it's Landon. Today we are on drugs. Hey, it's Landon. Today we're checking out the Google Nest Max.